Hi everybody, Michelle McClunan here, astrologer and life coach, and I'm bringing you another astrology update on the new moon on the 8th of August. It's a beautiful, amazing new moon. A lot's been written about this one because it's also known as the Lion's Gate portal. So I'll explain a little bit about that as much as I know, and also just in terms of what the energy is for this current time that we're experiencing. This is quite an unusual new moon because it's wedged in between two full moons, which are in Aquarius. So there's a lot of Aquarian energy around as well as Leo energy. So I'll try and explain that to you. So it happens on the 8th in the sign of Leo, which means that the sun and the moon come together in the same sign. And new moons, as we know, are always a time to plant new seeds. And this is the new moon to plant new seeds in the heart. Leo relates to the heart. It's in astrology, the different signs rule different parts of the body, and Leo rules the heart, amongst other things. And it's a really amazing month as the sun travels through Leo because it's really like a heart activation. And with it being on the same day as the Lion's Gate portal, apparently it makes it a lot stronger. So the Lion's Gate portal is based on 88 in numerology, being the 8th day of the 8th month. So there's the potency of the number 8, which is very powerful. I'm not a numerologist, but it's a powerful number. It's a very powerful transformational number, as far as I know. It's also often seen as the sign of infinity, so there's a lot of infinite wisdom that comes up at this time. The other thing that happens on the same day is the rising of the star Sirius. The ancients saw it as the spiritual sun, and they saw it when it was rising or very prominent or very dominant in the sky. They saw it as a gateway to awakening, to consciousness, to newness. They saw it as kind of a gateway to higher wisdom, higher knowledge, higher vibrational beings. It's a very bright spiritual star, Sirius. So if you combine all of those things, with this being in between two full moons in the same sign, with it being in the sign of Leo, which is a heart-based sign, with it being with Sirius rising, and then with the 88, it's quite a potent day. So that happens in South Africa at about 3:50 p.m. in the afternoon, and you can always look up to see where it happens in your country. I can't really make a list of all the countries and the times, but it happens around about that time. And new moons and big portals like this, the energy kind of builds. So you can do processes and rituals and everything around the new moon, building up to it and then just afterwards. So new moon's always the start of a new cycle. So it's always good to plant seeds at that new moon. So up until new moon, if you're watching this before new moon, it's time to let go and release, and then plant new seeds on the new moon. So it's a fertile place to plant seeds, new intentions. And these would be heart-based intentions. They'd be connected with love. So what I would say is one of the intentions that we can plant this new moon is, how can I love myself more? What would love do in this situation? If I loved myself enough, what would I do in this situation? Because it's really the portal of love. It's like the return to love. So I would say this is a very potent new moon to ask those questions and to keep asking them, because this is not about human limited love. This is about real love, returning to who we really are at our core, at our center, at our essence. That's what this is about. So if we're faced with decisions that we need to make or plans that we need to make, what would I do if I really loved myself? That's a really good question. You might find yourself making a different decision. So there's that sort of energy, bearing in mind that the heart has an energy field. If you look at the heart center, the heart has an energy field about 100 times as potent as the mind. And most of us live in our minds and our heads. So this is about dropping into our hearts and setting intentions from that heart-based place and putting that out into the field And I would say the 8th of August is a very, very powerful time to do that. Putting that heart-based intention out into the field. How can I shine my unique light? How can I really stand firmly in my truth, in my knowingness, in my true authenticity? These are all words associated with Leo, with what's going on right now. So that's a very powerful thing for each of us to do. It's to stand in our truth and to stand in our courage as well. So in sort of conjunction with all of this, we've also got a lot of other stuff going on in the heavens, obviously, as we always have. So you've got your sun and your moon opposite the planet Saturn and square the planet Uranus. I've been talking a lot about Saturn and Uranus over the last few months because that's the theme of this year, which is limitation versus freedom, the breakdown of the old Saturn and the birth of a new. We haven't got there yet. We're in the death throes of the old. The old structures versus new ideas, new ways of being, sort of big government situations and laws and rules, and then the people rising up, fighting for freedom. That's happening all over the world. If you're not watching mainstream media, you'll know that. Where people are saying, no, hang on, what about us? What about our humanity? The people are standing up and saying, no, this is not okay for humanity, whatever it is. And that is literally the energy of this time. So I think we're going to see quite a lot more of that, possibly a lot more kind of surprises, possibly eruptions, possibly more protests, possibly more weather things happening. I know in Turkey there's all these insane fires all over the place and nobody can kind of see why they're happening. Large planetary climate change, sort of very sudden climatic events. So that's all kind of happening right now, which is a bit unstable. And so what we called on to do is to find the stability within ourselves. And I would say, based on what I've been through and with a lot of people that we know and I know have been through in the last few weeks and months, if you live in South Africa, you'll kind of know what I'm talking about. I wrote in my blog a couple of weeks ago, I don't know if you read that, because I didn't do a video on it. I just didn't feel kind of okay to do a video on it. So I wrote a blog instead. But in the riots in Durban, the storeroom that I housed all my worldly belongings in was burnt down. And I know a couple of other people who lost their belongings as well. And what it's really shown me, and I've kind of known this for a long time, but what it's really shown me is that this is a time where we need to embrace impermanence, where we need to see that everything is shifting, everything is changing, everything is going to shift and change. So to hang on to anything is just going to create suffering. And that includes people, it includes places, it includes homes, it includes businesses. So we really have to be able to be flexible and shift with the times, improvise. The energy of Leo is creative energy. What is creative energy? Well, creative energy is making something out of nothing, working with one thing and making it into something else, but like alchemy. So you start with an empty canvas, or you start with no music, or you start with no dance and you create a dance. Or you start with ingredients and you create a meal. Or you start with flowers and you create a bouquet of flowers. And that's what we need to be called to do, is to step into our roles as creators, as co-creators, because we are co-creators. We're creating our reality with every thought, every word we speak. We are creating our reality because we're putting whatever we're saying, whatever we're intending, we're putting it into the field. So if we keep saying the words that, life's terrible, this is awful, it's never going to change, everything I try fails, we're just creating more of that. So there's that's sort of one level of creativity and creatorship that we can actually focus on this month. We are starting a new journey to freedom on the 16th of August. I don't believe there's ever been a more important time to do this work. This is the time. This is what we've all been waiting for, to ascend to higher levels of consciousness. And that's what's happening on our planet right now. So if you need help with that, you need community, you need support, you need a bit of guidance, please have a look at our website. It's journeyesofawakening.com. And it's a 13-week course. It offers an immense amount of support and guidance, and you'll learn a few things. But most importantly, what the journey is about is releasing the barriers that are preventing us from stepping into our true essence, which is love, or returning to our true essence, because we've never gone anywhere. We can't, because that's our essence. That's what it's really about. That's what I believe our work is at this time, and we're offering you support on that. So please feel free to join. You can join us free for the first week, which is Life Vision Week, and we're also going to be offering a bursary. If you attend Life Vision Week, you might win the whole course. So have a look at the website on that. So it's a very important time to be working on our spiritual development. What does spiritual development mean? It means consciousness. It means, how do we see the world? It means looking at how we see the world clearly, realizing, seeing clearly what we're doing. Where are our thoughts at any one moment? Are we living in a vibration of love, or are we living in a vibration of fear? Are we making our decisions from a place of love, which is inclusiveness, peace, freedom? Or are we making our decisions from a place of fear? This is what I've been told to do, so I must do it. This is what's been expected of me, so I better do that. Or are we doing it in a different way? And I believe that this is where we're moving towards as a collective, is we're moving towards connecting with our truth. What is our truth? Our truth we can find in this moment. When we connect, when we breathe, we bring ourselves back to this moment, we bring ourselves into our heart, there's a knowingness there. Then the head will come in and tell you all sorts of stories, and other people might come in and tell you all sorts of things. But the truth resides in our heart, and your truth might be different from my truth. It's your truth that matters. I think this is also a time of being very tolerant with other people, with people who don't understand our point of view, who see things differently to us. It doesn't necessarily mean they're wrong. It just means they're at a different place. So it's tolerance as well. That's also part of this, is not furthering the division, but actually creating more unity wherever we can. So again, we go back to the Leo. How can I actually be of service to the world? How can I shine my light in a creative way, which is helpful to other people? How can I cheer someone up? Maybe I can send them a piece of music, or give them a flower, or make them a meal, or do something, reach out to someone who's struggling. Those are very important things to be doing right now, as opposed to looking for our personal preference future. Like, I want to be a this and it's not going this way, so therefore I'm not going to do anything. What can I do today? I can do this today. I can do this in this moment. That's the important thing. So this month, this new moon, plant the seed of asking yourself how you can love more in each moment. You know, if you're laying the table, why don't you put a flower on it? Make somebody a meal and do it beautifully. Dust off those art materials if you're so creatively inclined. Start doing something creative. It opens the heart. As soon as we connect with the right brain, we quieten the left rational linear brain, which has its uses. Every now and then it overwhelms us. So it quietens the left brain, it opens the right brain, and we're able to actually access our innate knowingness when we engage in creative stuff. Whether it's dancing, whether it's singing, whether it's baking, gardening, painting, sculpting. Whatever it is that makes your heart sing, do more this month. Really, it changes everything. If you know a child, play with a child. They will show you what to do. They'll show you how to play. They'll show you what you've forgotten, because it's just innate, especially before the age of about 7, before the conditioning settles in. They're just innately creative, as we are. We've just forgotten that. So this is a month to regenerate that, to really plant those seeds. At the new moon, we've also got Venus opposite Neptune. Venus is the planet of love, opposite Neptune, which is the planet of the divine. So it's really asking us to release the blocks that we have towards love, towards our creativity, towards our loved ones, to release the attachments, release the expectations. Release, release, release. Release attachment to future. It's a huge one. Very difficult to do. Most people say, I can't release attachment to future. But sometimes, most times, the attachment to future is that which actually causes us suffering. Because we can't be present. Because we're too busy worrying about the future. And wondering if what we're doing right now is right for the future. What you're doing right now is right. The most important thing you can do is this that you're doing right now. The most important person in your life is the person you're speaking to right now. So if that's the case, then we need to place our attention and our focus on now. And that will then become the next thing and become the next thing. And we'll improvise. It's like any creative process. The one step creates an energy, and that leads to another energy and another energy. And instead of seeing this as a terrible crisis, I know a lot of people going through huge crises at the moment. What about if we could see it as it's an opening, it's a shift. And shifts aren't ever easy because we're shifting. Because you don't shift if you're comfortable. If you're in a comfort zone, don't want to shift. Just stay in your comfort zone. It's comfy, it's cushy. Why shift? But when it becomes a nightmare, when it becomes a really difficult situation, we are pushed to shift. And we're shifting into higher levels of consciousness. And that can mean that lots of emotion comes up. It can mean a lot of loss comes up. It's okay. Allow it to, but don't attach to it. So allow it. So a wave of grief comes up. I still have that every now and then when I kind of think of, oh yeah, there was that in the storeroom as well. And I allow myself that wave of grief. But I don't necessarily need to attach to it. And if I do, that's my choice, but it's not really serving me much. So I can let it wash through me as opposed to attaching and wallowing in it. And I think we've got to be careful of wallowing in anything right now. I think we need to be aware of what's going on, but not over-aware. So not spending all our time listening to the news, watching YouTube videos on what's going on in the world, spending time, but having time as well to have fun, to laugh, to play, to be creative, to love where you are, love the person you're with, the people that you're with. That's the most important thing we can be doing, because that is planting the seeds for our new earth, which is coming. We don't know when, but it's coming. We also have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful retreat coming up in Hogsback. We'll be doing a lot of playing with art materials. We'll be doing a lot of time spent in nature. It's a very, very powerful place, which is why John and I love going there and teaching there. It's very powerful. I lived there for 3 months a couple of years ago. It's very powerful, very transformational place. So you're welcome to join us for that. And also just a reminder that we do a weekly live on Facebook. We are busy shifting to our new Facebook profile, but we haven't yet. So it'll still be on John's profile. Every Sunday we get together. It's free. You can join us as a community. We chat about a certain subject or a couple of subjects. I give a little bit of an astrology update if there is one to give. We do an opening, a clearing meditation, centering meditation, and then a little visualization at the end. And that's a beautiful community that we've got going there. So join us. You just go to the page and click on at 7 o'clock, and there we are. And if we aren't going to be on for that night for any reason, then we'll put a notice up on the Facebook page, as well as we have a WhatsApp group, Journeys of Awakening WhatsApp group. I'm going to put the link below this so that you can join that group. It's a broadcast group, so you won't be inundated, but it'll give you our satsangs, our free stuff, our YouTube videos that we do. It'll give you links to that to further support you on your journey. So you're welcome to join that group as well. And I'm available for readings, obviously, as always. So I do the initial astrology reading. If you haven't had that done before, that takes about 90 minutes. And it gives you a good sense of what you've come in with as your energetic blueprint. And then if you have had your chart done before, it's always a good idea to have a refresher and an update, because we have these different energies play out differently in our charts. So when we have big alignments like Saturn and Uranus, they're playing out in our charts in specific areas, and we can generally see that from the chart. So I have got about a 2 to 3 week waiting list, but we can book you in. So thank you for listening. I hope this has helped, and if you like the video, please subscribe by clicking the button, and if you like it, share it and get the light out there. And don't forget, shine your light, your unique light. There's only ever been one of you, and there will only ever be one of you. And you've come with your own set of amazing skills and talents and abilities and traits. And you're a gift. So how can you be more of a gift to yourself and the world? Lots of love. Thanks for listening.